What's up, guys?
Oh, hi, Sonia. Hi, everybody. So this is how you should look when you're showing property this time, right? Everyone should have their mask on when you enter the property. So thanks for being on the Zoom today. So I'm gonna take this off now. And of course, everybody has so many different masks, different types. You know, a cloth mask is preferred so you can wash it. So there's so many different types. Everybody has all different kind of masks. They have realtor masks that you can get from the realtor store. So make sure you have masks on when showing property. So like I said, thanks for being on the Zoom today. Now question, are brokers and agents legally permitted to show property? Okay, we all know yes. However, showing should be done virtually whenever possible. So hopefully there's, listings where you can go on. They should have plenty of pictures and video tours. So you should be trying to do that first and go over the property that way with your client. So definitely want to try to do things, handle it virtually, if at all possible. Excuse me. So some key points. First of all, regarding CARs, best practices, guidelines, it's your duty as a professional realtor to know the rules. So, there's a lot of information that's been coming out every day, every week. The best practice guidelines that have been updated probably 3 or 4 times already. So you need to go over it, read it over a few times. You're not going to know it word for word. So you should go over that. Everyone should know by now all visitors must sign the PB form and deliver it electronically to the listing agent in advance. Okay. So we have our PB form right here. Sorry, yes, right here. And so everyone, even if you haven't shown a property yet, look at the forms. Don't wait until it's time for you to show property to then go on and try to figure this form out. Clients may ask you questions, right? And remember, you as the professional realtor, you want to know what you're talking about. So again, read over this form quite a few times. It's 2 pages, and then you have the signature lines here, okay? So you have to make sure that part gets done and sent over to the listing agent. And again, the form should be sent electronically. Now, the agent who shows the property shall follow the cleaning and disinfecting protocols and provide sanitation products, right? Okay, so you want to make sure, I know some agents are actually bringing additional masks with them, hand sanitizer, whatever you can do to help. I make sure, if a buyer comes and they don't have a mask, and they need to have one, or they cannot enter the property, basically. In case anyone was, thinking of asking that, they can't go in the property. Okay, and then prior to or immediately upon entry, all visitors, like I just said, must use hand sanitizer or wash their hands with soap and water before touring or inspecting the property. So again, this is your duty as the professional realtor to make sure these things are getting done. Okay, and then in regards to the best practices guidelines, which are right here, I'm going to touch base on some of these things. And this is the showing rules for listing and buyer agents. Like I said, number 1, utilize the virtual tours instead of in-person property showings whenever possible. Number 2, of course, is about, open houses. You guys, we can't do open houses right now. Someone asked before if they can continue to do, door knocking or just drop some flyers. You can't do that either right now at this point. You got to remember, you can't handle flyers to people, hand flyers to people. That's the problem. You're passing along, papers and everybody's touching it. So basically it's no door knocking, okay? And still no open houses. They can see the property again with virtual tours, okay? And this is very important right here, number 3, and I'm sorry, let me use my annotations, which I like to use a little better. So right here, number 3, only a single party and a buying party are to be in a dwelling at the same time during a showing, okay? And a buying party can be more than one individual buyer, but there still should be probably no more than 2 buying parties and the agent. And they can take turns. They can take turns, right? If you had more than 4 people there, you can maybe have, 2 come in, they see the property, and then the other 2. Okay. Number 4, showing houses with occupants not present when possible. You can ask them to step out. Maybe even if the property is tenant occupied, have them step outside for a moment, or better yet, if they are not home, would be a suggested thing to do. Let's see, agents conducting the showing should meet clients at the property and not drive the client to the property. I hope nobody's doing that. Because you have to be very careful, and you run into liability, just having other people in your car, right? If they get sick, anything can happen. So you just have to be really careful.
Yeah, and just from the other side of that, Kim, like, let's just say you did drive someone there and you guys are both healthy, and then the listing agent calls you some days later and says, hey, someone who also saw the property, just got sick.
Right.
And then now you can, if your client gets sick, it could have been from your car. I mean, it's just not a good idea at the moment.
Exactly. Right. Not good at all. Number 7 here, even though the client may have already been informed, real estate licensee should remind clients to maintain physical distancing during showings, right? So let's say, for example, too, I had to show a property not so long ago, and I just always have my same script available, just, basically letting them know, well, for one, they have to have the mask on, but then prior to going in, before they even walk in the front door, I would just make sure I always say the same thing, and that way you're not forgetting. So I just let them know, please do not touch anything when you enter the property. If you need anything opened, a door, a closet, cabinet, whatever it is, let me know and I'll open it. They shouldn't be touching anything, okay? So I want you guys to know that. Okay, number 8, real estate licensees or sellers, just like I said, must open doorways or other areas of egress, okay? To minimize, the client's touching surfaces. Okay, and we went through that part. Let's see. Then to continue, I didn't stop.
So Kim.
Yes.
I mean, I did some property yesterday, and so I go up there, and first of all, they have 5 lock boxes right there, right? So touching 5 lock boxes. Wish I had some gloves on me, and I didn't, right? And I'm not even in the property yet, right? But everything is dirty, right? Because they're just sitting outside on a gate, and sometimes it's just not clear which one is the real lockbox or whatever. So my lessons from yesterday were leaving your car, right? You're gonna have the mask already, right? And now I would say gloves on immediately before you even touch keys, right? And then also
the gloves.
Right, like take a bag that has the wipes in it, because the doorknobs and all that other stuff. So even if you have gloves on, now you're just spreading. I mean, that stuff was disgusting. So
Exactly. No, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point, because like you said, there could be lots of boxes there. It could be a condominium complex, and they normally have more than one box there anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be trying to figure out which one it is.
Yeah. This agent was actually had left also, which I thought was really smart. There was a sanitation bottle right outside the door, like. Okay. It had a little screen and then the door, so it was in between, but it was like, you can leave a bottle of sanitizer, because imagine if somebody does come in and then they do lock the door at the end, right? And now they're just sitting there with these keys that have been in the door and blah, blah, blah. Ooh. Even if they're wearing gloves, right? You could at least put some of that stuff on the keys or whatever,
Exactly. And so this is a section here that talks about the cleaning and disinfecting the property, right? So in number 1 here, the agent who shows the property shall follow cleaning and disinfecting protocols and provide sanitation products unless otherwise agreed. So if I recall, since they've updated the form, it's you as the buyer's agent is responsible, to make sure it's clean, after your showing. Prior to that, it's the listing agent's responsibility. Okay. All right. So, yeah. And let's see. Let's go to, because it's kind of like they have both for either the buyer or the seller. But in number 3, disposable covers should be properly discarded in a trash bag or other similar receptacle that is sealed. And I believe they took gloves off of here. They made that no longer a requirement. So it's not talking really about gloves anymore, but still a good idea. And for anyone who, they feel the gloves makes them more comfortable, then that's totally fine. Okay. Let's see. Where is it? So I want to look at number 5 here actually. No showing may occur unless the property is cleaned and disinfected before and after the showing, after each showing. Okay. And then they talk about the alcohol percentage, stuff like that. And number 1, we already talked about having that PV form signed that everyone must do and make sure the listing agent has the form. And I think, again, you as a professional realtor doing your job, make sure the listing agent did receive it, right? Don't assume that they have it. You've sent it. How do you know? Went to the, wrong email or just whatever. They don't have it. You want to make sure you have if they have a CVC code to get in the property, all that stuff. So, just kind of covering your own tracks there. So make sure that they have it. You never want to assume anything. And then some of this is repetitive. So like number 3, all visitors must maintain 6 feet. We already know that. The face coverings, the hand sanitizer. Then it talks about the rules for sellers. So anyhow, just wanted to go over that so you guys know the rules. Sonia and I always talk about the fact that, some things have to be repeated. Like I told them, Sonia, that everybody's not going to, all this fine print here, everybody's not going to remember all this just in one whop. It's okay to review it a few times, read it over, read it prior to going to the showing, so you have it fresh in your head and know exactly what to do. Yeah. Sonia, you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, ooh, that was loud. So my only thing would be, yeah, do the paid visitor form. Make sure you know how to find that. And then that one you can, that one you can literally grab on the go, just go to all forms, find it, because it doesn't really require much typing other than the address. But, we have to get the client to sign it on the bottom. There's an initial for the agent on the first page. And then you also want to check one of those signature lines that Kim is on right now. So put the client on the first one because the DocuSign the e-sign here will automatically assume their signature there. So just put the client there, even though you can put the broker yourself there as well, but then you'll have to do an extra step of switching the signature over. So put the client there, put yourself, for instance, there, and then check the broker agent number and make sure you put your license number there too, right? Doesn't it normally, I thought it went right there. Maybe check it. Does it do a license number? It asked me for my.
I know I had one that did the license number as well. So I don't know why it's not showing here.
Maybe you have to check the box first or no?
Check the box maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I just filled out one. Yeah. So, and then you guys don't forget about the bottom part here, the acknowledgement, acknowledging the receipt of a copy of the form. So it does say the initials below are not required, but can be used as evidence that the initialing party has received the completed form. But why not do it? It is there for a reason. So just, just make sure this is all done. Okay.
So for compliance, if if I send this to an agent and then they acknowledge the email and they say received, thank you, feel free to go in or whatever, then unless this is, if it, let's say the deal is not going, that we don't like this property, the client wants to keep looking, and she never sent me this back, should I be getting this back, or is that okay that she acknowledged it with an email if I had to ever go back to this?
And you're saying, and you would have the buyer in this example?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they don't have to give it back to you, and I do think your email will suffice. You have something in writing as a, you know, paper trail or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have something that you can confirm that they did receive it, so you should be fine there.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then I want everyone to notice this at the very top, because this is something that people ask as well. And I just want you to see this little print here. A new declaration should be obtained from each visitor each time they enter a property. May be used for more than one property visited. That part right there. May be used for more than one property visited on the date this form is signed, provided a copy is delivered to each listing broker. So basically, right? So let's say if you're going to go to a few properties on the same day, you just have to send it to each listing broker of each property.
Kim?
More than one property visited on the date.
You just cut out for 2 seconds. Will you say that again? So if we have, but you have to change the address no matter what, no? Are you there? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sonia. Kim is gone.
Kim, we lost you.
Oh.
Oh, something happened. Okay, we'll wait for her to pop back in. I'm sure she probably has to disconnect or something.
Yep.
But yeah, so this is my question. I would assume that I have to keep changing the address, but it sounds like she's saying you don't. As long as it's in the same day, which is interesting. Oh, there she goes. She popped out, so I'm sure she's gonna pop right back in. Any other questions on this, guys? Have you guys used this?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So as long as just put your client on the first line and then put yourself on second or wherever, that way the signatures are gonna be super easy for you to do because it'll just populate the signature on the next line right there. But other than, it doesn't really matter, honestly. You can do it whatever, in however you want to do it, but that is the gist of that whole thing. Any other questions on this? If I was lead generating and I wanted to keep lead generating with looking at listings like we normally do with broker tours or doing virtual tours, what I would be doing is I would be looking for those either like new developments, vacant properties that are just beautiful and vacant, maybe in the millions, and just calling the listing agent being like, can I go view this property, right? And then I would take video while I'm there, and you can be posting that. You can do a video as a live. You can ask the listing agent if you can use the video as a virtual tour for an ad. I mean, this is a great way, but you just have to make sure that you have that. But this is actually not a bad thing because you wouldn't want to go to a property anyway that has tenants in it. So you just look for the vacant properties. You can ask the listing agent, hey, would it be okay if I went to go preview the property? I may have some buyers. I'd love to take some footage for them. And then you send them the PED, right? You don't have to have a client on there. It can only be you on that form. So it's the PEAD-V, right? And just send that in, wait for confirmation, but always talk to them, of course, in the beginning, at first. But that is a way to lead generate. That's what I would be doing if I was just wanting to get out there, look for the really nice properties. And does everyone here have the CRMLS app? Because you guys can look for property on your own app, but your own app will never give you another agent's phone number because that's the whole point. You want all the leads to go to you. So when you're looking for property where you might have to call the agent, the CRMLS app, you can download that, put it on your phone, and it'll have the agent phone number right there. You can literally click once you find a property, call, super easy. Like, hey, I see it looks like it's vacant. Is that right? Could I go in? I'll send you the PED. And in my experience, they just go, yeah, go ahead and just send it over, and then you can go whenever, like get the instructions from them. But that's one way to create some, like, to tell people that you're working in real estate, which is what we want, right? Questions? Any questions, comments on this? What you guys got?
We took our clients to new building, like new builder's place, but yeah, like twice, this happened twice. They don't ask for this. It looks like they didn't even know, you know, what it means, but then we email it to them anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, even they don't know it, we send it, right?
Yep. Please always send it, and then just make sure that they say received. That was my question to Kim. Right? So as long as they reply to the email and they say received, you're good to go. You only really need this back signed by them if you end up purchasing that, or your client ends up purchasing that property, right? Other than that, it can just get left in the wind, but you want to have that receipt, because then if anything happens, you'll know. But yeah, the reason is because the construction agencies, they use their own forms. They sometimes don't even use our forms, right? Like you have the experience with that one client, where even the purchase agreement is not the same.
Yes.
So yeah, so just send it anyway to cover your own, right? But yeah, so put a little, if you don't have it yet, put a little kit together in the car in like a Ziploc bag, with some gloves, a little bit of sanitizer, and then wipes, right? Because the keys was the one thing I wasn't thinking. Of course we think like, okay, I'm not going to touch anything, maybe the door, the lights or something, but I might have gloves on. But you know, the keys are the one thing you're going to be touching, the keys too. So you just want to have some wipes with you or something.
Yeah, we always do.
Okay, so I know Kim's account that we're on is only good for 40 minutes. So I want to tell you one other thing, but I did see, okay, so what's the name of the app? So the name of the app is CRMLS, California Regional Multiple Listing Service. I put it in the chat there. So you can just go ahead and download that. It's a little house with a magnifying glass on it. You just sign in with your MLS IDs. Okay, and then the PED forms are found on NAR, on zip forms, yeah. So you can go NAR and then just click on transactions or zip forms. And once you do, if you guys, if someone here hasn't really done this before, I can just go ahead and share my screen here. So I have NAR saved up here. So not NAR, I'm sorry, car.org, Luke, car.org. And when you have it, I just put it right there in my thing, and then you're gonna have access transactions. It used to say access zip forms, by the way, guys. All right, so you're gonna sign in. It's gonna validate that you're still a member. And once it makes it yellow down here, we're going to continue. And this actually always pops you in directly to the transaction screen, because it's assuming you're visiting a transaction that you already have created. So the easiest way to do this, like when I'm in a hurry, I want to just pull a form real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and it drops you right here. You're not going to have anything here if you don't have transactions, but otherwise you would, right? Just go to view forms right here. And view forms, you can just in here type in PED-V and just take the first one, click it, and it's gonna open it here for you. And all you have to do is put in the property address there, right? And then if you have any weird terms or notes or whatnot, and then put your client there, put yourself there, you just type in the name. See this one, you guys see this? It has the broker agent DRE here. I don't know why the one that Kim used didn't. So anyway, it just picked the first one. This is fine, okay? And then all you have to do here is just click e-sign, and it's gonna wanna know who do you want, you know, okay, save first, sorry. Save, and then, you know, you can just e-sign it from there. So it'll have you pick the email addresses and whatnot. So you can do this without really even creating a transaction first. All right, hope that clarifies it. So car.org, a couple of things you may want to have on your up here in your menu bar. Obviously, I've got the KW Connect and KW Command, but also car.org is a good one, and then CRMLS, obviously. You don't want to keep typing this stuff in every time, right? So just give yourself a break and make some quick keys, right? I mean, you can do as many of them as you want, clearly. So, okay. And what else was I gonna say? So yeah, so that's the one thing that obviously this is about the transaction and the forms. So just always think, like, if someone was gonna come and ask you, hey, what happened? You went to go look at this, you know, property. Did you send a PED? Did they receive it? Are you sure they saw it? You know, did you know that your client, did you explain it to your client? So anytime you're looking at compliance, like this is where it really shifts over to Kim, because she's going to be able to tell you the legal side of things. But you always just want to think like, where is the proof? Right? So with anything, make sure you guys know, and don't tell this to your clients, but like, you guys know, if some client signs a form with you and then later they say, for instance, in court or wherever, that they didn't understand what they were signing, you're done. It doesn't apply. Anyone can say that. And so obviously it's not something you want people to think that these are binding things, but you know, anytime you make a contract, and if a client was to say, I didn't understand what I was signing, you probably don't have any proof that you explained it to them, right? So that they're off the hook at that point, that you can't do anything about it. So like, if you think you have a listing and they said, I didn't understand what I was signing, where's the proof that you explained it to them? You don't have that? Great. They don't owe you the listing. So with transactions, just always think, how can I get black on white when you can? And if you're having an argument or you're having a dispute that you do not want to be on black and white, you know, always get people on the phone to try to work out resolutions. And then if you need to, afterwards, whatever you agree upon, you can always send an email saying, hey, per our conversation this afternoon at 3 p.m., these were the 3 things we agreed upon. Would you please just respond that you got this? I'm just sending you as a reminder, right? So just cover your bases, because, you know, in this business, it's not so much about if you get sued, it's more about when you get sued, unfortunately. And don't let that scare you. That's why we have errors and omissions, and you're actually not going to get sued. The company will get sued and they'll pay that. And that's why you're paying that insurance. So it's not going to be you with Keller Williams, but just we don't want to keep paying a $5,000, you know, fee on your behalf. Right? So, all right. Any other questions? Also, so Kim is going to be your first contact when it's like about compliance, legal, anything like that. I can help you too, but I'll defer you to Kim if I'm not totally sure. And then we also have our legal department, the lawyers that are on retainer for all of you. So you can always use that. And as you're taking listings or taking new clients, and if they have any doubts on, you know, what's happening, how do we know this is correct? Just say, we have a full legal team at our office that will help us through anything that, if anything was going to come up, you know. So you can always talk to them too. So technically, just so you know, you have 4 hours of lawyer time for every transaction. I mean, they're not going to count the minutes and stuff, but I'm just saying they're not going to spend like 5 days with you analyzing things. It's for, hey, I need a letter. This person is not performing. Hey, what is the legal thing here to do? What is the best way to do this? What's the blah, 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 blah. But always Kim first. Never like, oh, I'm going to call the lawyer. Just call Kim, because she can usually defer all this stuff. Right? Anything else? So get the CRML's app because then you can search for the property on there and call the agent directly. You'll see their email on there as well. You can email them directly from there too. Yeah. And you could, guys, by the way, all of the contracts that are in zip forms, this is all great that it's in zip forms and stuff if you're on a computer, but you might want to just have some blanks with you. I don't know, put some in your car. I mean, right? Because what if you have to stop somewhere and go see a property? I mean, I would have stopped at this property on Sunday if I could have to preview it. Instead, I wasn't by my computer and I had to send that form. So wet signatures are completely fine. And then to get around that, okay, I'll give you a little tech tip. There's an app called Office Lens. Okay, anybody use Office Lens before? I don't know if you did. If you have an iPad, by the way, you can do all these contracts on iPad too. It's super easy. But Office Lens, it's going to be an orange little app that has a L on it. And that one is basically like a scanner. Okay, so you could literally do this contract in handwriting, point your phone at it, right? And it's gonna crop it and it's gonna make it look like a document, so it sharpens the text. And then you could text it to the listing agent or email it or whatever. As long as you get a receipt back before you enter the property, you can do that too. And then you can always send them one of these things later if they need an actual like something better. But you might want to just print some of these and put them in your car just in case. And that way you have them. Wet signatures are still as good as any, right? My first real estate customer was 3 people that were almost 100 years old, the 3 of them, each one of them. And so every time I made a mistake and forgot a signature, I had to drive all the way out there and because they were only doing wet signatures. So I couldn't DocuSign them. So let me tell you, that'll teach you, right? That was fun. All right, anything else? Office Lens, sorry. Lens, like a camera lens. Okay, it's a good app and you can save them as PDFs or you can save them as photos onto your camera roll. You can do multiple pages or you can just do 1 page. It's pretty awesome. If it's wrinkled, it can smooth it out for you. You can bleach it if the paper, sometimes you take a picture of paper, it looks like yellow or dark or something. It'll do the white thing for you and just make it look real official. So that's a pretty good one. It's free. Don't pay for anything. If it has ads, or I have not seen any ads on it, but if it does now, I've used it for years. It's free. Okay, so all right, anything else? I'm going to start my tech training here in a second, so I just need to pull up some documents for that, but it'll be a different link, so please join us. We're going to be entering a smart plan in. Woo! Custom smart plan. Once you do one, you're going to know how to do more of them. So please join us if you can. Other than that, we'll see you next week at the same time for contracts training. Okay? Bye, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Fiona.
Thank you.
Bye, Sonia. Have a good day.